Hello, our viewers. This is Wema Tv. We are the voice of hope, and this is Couples Will Show. This is where we write down our love while we are alive. As we have always said, we don't want our love story to be read when we are 6 feet under. We don't want our love story to be told when we are gone. And that's why we always come to you speaking matters concerning love and building our marriages. For we really strongly believe that marriages work. And you asked for him, and he is back. Yes, he was here last month and he has come back again. We are doing it again. And you know what? We are doing part 2 of third parties in marriage. It was powerful. We learned a lot. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Tumeambiwa sasa tunaweza gota.
We have no otherwise, but we hope it goes soon.
Yes. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Maybe there's someone who is watching us for the first time, and maybe they don't know you. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Bernard Warui, Wairuda.
Yeah.
I am married to Mary Gadhoni. The Lord has blessed us with 3 children.
Yeah.
I'm a minister with the Worldwide Gospel Church of Kenya.
Yes.
At Kamuru.
Yeah.
Along Kagudo Road.
Yes.
I've also authored 4 books.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful and happy to be here. One of the books is actually on marriage.
Yes.
Like I said last time, it has 2 chapters on that parties in marriage.
Yeah.
One that says, cast away the
Ravens. Yes.
The other one says, never walk alone.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a powerful book. I've gone through it.
Very powerful.
And I've learned a lot.
Sometimes I read and wonder who wrote this book.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So maybe can we do a recap of what we did last?
Yeah, we said quite a number of things last time. One, we said that third parties is anybody else other than your spouse.
Yeah.
So if you are the husband, then anybody else other than your wife is a third party. And we said that the third party, you can take 2 sides of this. That one side is where you have third parties that can become pillars,
Yeah.
a support system for your marriage and help it work and do well.
Yeah.
You can also have the other side where we talked about ravens.
Yes.
And I gave the example of weddings. I hope the people can remember.
Yeah.
Which comes, these ravens come during the wedding and you're carrying your food. They come down and hit your plate. You lose the food.
Yes.
You are frightened.
Yes.
And the raven does not carry the food with it itself. So the marriage is threatened. It's broken. And even the third party that came in does not gain from that frightening event.
Yes.
And therefore, you have to choose very carefully. And I remember saying that you have to have your marriage or your relationship like the temple of the old, that there was a place where there were boundaries. You would have some place where only men would pass. There's a place where Gentiles stayed. There's a place only the Levites went. There's a place only the priests went. And there was the Holy of Holies. That you need to make sure that the influence you allow from other people and other things onto your marriage is intentionally considered, and you have to filter that and ensure there are clear boundaries on that.
Yes.
Thank
you for that. That's what we discussed last month.
Exactly.
And now, as you do part 2 of third parties in marriage, let me ask, how do we differentiate the ravens and these are the people who we are working with in marriage? Because there are people who will come, but at the back of their mind, there is something they need from these people. So how do we differentiate and know this is the right person and this one tunafaa tumkae kando?
Thank you very much for that question. It's a very good question. And one of the key things in life is being intentional. Freewheeling is not allowed. I don't know whether you've driven on certain roads.
Yes.
I was on one day, a few weeks ago, and then I saw a signboard saying that freewheeling is not allowed.
Yes.
In marriage, freewheeling is not allowed. You're not allowed to just open the door and let whoever comes in come in. You're not just allowed to live life and then you can start deciding, this has happened. No, you have to be very intentional. And therefore, any relationship that is allowed in your marriage has to be cultivated intentionally.
Yes.
That it is not something that happens and then you're evaluating later. And if you have to cultivate it intentionally, then it has to come from you.
Yeah.
You've talked about some people will come. No, you don't allow people to come. It is you. If these relationships are about your marriage, it is you who now intentionally decide who do I need in my marriage.
Yes.
And for what reason do I need them? Because there are 3 things that I say that are very important when dealing with third parties in marriage. Number 1 is to define every relationship that you have.
Yeah.
Whoever you allow in your marriage, no matter to what extent, define very clearly who are they. Are they family? Are they friends? Are they mentors? Are they people that we rely on for pastoral care and such? Who are they?
Yeah.
Define very clearly. And I think last time we talked about several categories of people that you can allow into a marriage. After you have defined that, then place boundaries.
Yes.
Place boundaries. That yes, I've met you today. I can see you have some interest to be close to us, but I can't allow you in yet. So there's a boundary for each and every category. And before I allow you to the next category, then you have to qualify. It's like where you have courses and there are prerequisites.
Yes.
That yes, I've met you today. Really looks like a great man. Him and his wife look like people we can relate with. But I don't just tick that and allow you in.
Yeah.
I have to put a boundary and keep you somewhere. And as we relate and work together, I'm able to tell now this person can go to the next level. This person can go to the next level. Because it's very hard to deal with people when they are already in. It's easier to deal with them when they have not crossed certain boundaries. And therefore, you must now, when we are walking that journey, I'll listen to you. I'll look at the things you're doing. I'll look at how you are relating with me. And I'm able to tell, is this a person that I need in my relationship or not?
Yeah.
And it is also informed by need, that we are intentional in terms of identifying who and who do we need in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because you can't have everybody who thinks they qualify to be mentors to mentor you in marriage.
Yeah.
You don't have to get every pastor to provide you pastoral care in your marriage. You have to intentionally decide it's so and so, it's so and so, and then now have a criteria, be able to analyze and say, yes, this one we can allow, this one we cannot.
Yeah.
So it's a very intentional process. And through that process, you'll be able to tell, this doesn't seem to have good motives, this seems to have good motives. And there is something that I said last time, that never ignore the feelings or what your spouse thinks about somebody.
Yeah.
If there is a concern, even if it looks petty, never tell them it's petty.
Yeah.
Take it as seriously as they are taking it.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, as you talk about putting boundaries, you might find that we have different personalities.
Yes.
There are these people who are moved very fast.
Yes.
And so I meet Warui today and I feel like, this is a good man.
Yes.
And so for me, I'm ready to bring you into my file. But my wife, because of her personality, is saying, no, we need to put a boundary. We need to take some time and know this man. So how do we go about this? There's one person who is easygoer. You meet this person, ready to bring him in. The other one is saying, no, let's take time. So how do we balance this?
I think it's very important for you to, number one, understand each other and see, because one beautiful thing with God, you know, we say he's a matchmaker, is that he brings us together.
Yeah.
And you find that one person really becomes like one who checks on the other person. And he brings a certain balance that is hard to find naturally. Like you just meet two people, put them together, that balance might not be there. And like I've said, never... you would rather take seriously what your spouse has said and then realize it would not have really harmed your marriage than ignore their concern and later realize that this is the worst thing that ever happened to us. And so what I would say, we would rather tread on the side of caution.
Yeah.
That if, yes, I feel like this person needs to come in, but my wife feels we need to take some time. Or it could be the other way. It's the wife who feels some person should come in, and the husband feels like, no, we still need to take time. We would rather tread on the path of caution than just allow this person in and then regret later.
Yeah.
It's easier to first put the boundaries, watch, and then fight the person who was concerned, saying, oh, I think he isn't a very bad man. I think he isn't a very bad woman. Now we can go ahead. Other than allow this person in, and then when he's already inside, you realize, wow, now we need to start firefighting.
Yes.
And there is nothing as bad as firefighting in the marriage, because the marriage could burn. You know, when you're firefighting, it's either the fire goes off and things are salvaged, or the fire doesn't go off and everything gets burned. So you would rather tread on the side of caution. Let's keep him at bay. Listen to this person who is saying, let's keep him at bay, and let him in only when both of us are able to reach a point where we can agree together. The other important thing in terms of fighting balance is sitting together. Communication is key in marriage.
Yeah.
Sitting together and listening to one another. Because you find that many marriages are going down because people are not listening to one another. Each person have very varied points, but nobody is listening to each other. So if we sit down, bring your points on the table. I bring my points on the table. When your points and my points come on the table, they now don't belong to you. They now don't belong to me. They belong to us.
Yes.
And then we objectively break them down and discuss. If we discuss, you might find you've been able to convince this person who was careful, or this person who was a little bit careful has been able to convince you. And therefore, the decision you make out of that is not that one person has won and the other one has lost, or this other person has won and the other. When we brought them to the table, we now are looking at them objectively for the good of our family. We have settled on one thing, we keep that person outside. Doesn't mean that the one who wanted him in has lost. No, it's our marriage that has won. That we have been able to find something that is for the good of our marriage. If we agree that let us let him in, it is not that the one who said let us let him in has won. It is that we have objectively looked at these things, and after that objectivity, we have seen, wow, this person should come in. And so both of us have won. Yes.
Now, how long should we take now to bring in this person?
There's no defined time. It's a matter of reasonableness, and what I would say, it also depends with of course there are different categories of people. You know, like if you think about parents, it's by default. If you marry me, my mother, my father, my sisters, my brothers have become part of the family. So it's a matter of how do we deal with them and to what extent do we allow them in. If we are maybe looking for a best couple, or maybe we are looking for a spiritual authority that can guide us, then for different kinds of relationships, it will take different things. If we are just looking for friends that we can hang out with, then that's a totally different ball game. If we are looking for prayer partners, people that we can sit together and pray about our families together, that is again a very different thing. So we are looking at different things, and the time will also depend on how long we have known each other. I may find a couple that I have known for years, maybe since we were students in college, or I may meet a new couple in church whom I have never known before. So we can never say that this is the time that we take. It is at what point do we have the comfort, both of us, and we feel that we are in consensus that we ought to take this decision. When we get there and both of us know that we are together, then we move forward. Yes.
Wow, this is lovely. Hey viewers, I hope you're still there and you're following us keenly. We are doing part 2 of that parties in marriage.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We are doing part 2 of that parties in marriage, and we have Reverend Bernard Warui Wairura, and he is taking us smoothly. If you're following us there, kindly let us know what you are learning tonight, and also let us know where you are watching us from. Kindly leave a comment there and let us know you are there and you're following us. Now, there's an issue that came up about parents, because there are people who wrote to us and say that my husband will listen to the mother more than she will listen to me as a wife. How do we handle this?
One, of course, I remember that clip was hilarious when it went out. That if you have to consult your mother or your father for anything that you want to do, then you're not yet ready. You're still a kid, and marriage is not for kids. It's for mature people who are able to make their decisions. And if you have been able to reach a point where you can make a decision that this is the girl I'll marry, this is the man I'll marry, then that's a major decision. You don't now need, and I don't think they consulted their mothers and their fathers on whom to marry, that now they have to consult them on what plot to buy. And therefore, you must agree and take into account the fact that you have left. You have left. But leaving does not mean that they are no longer your people. It does not mean this is no longer your mother. That's a relationship that can never be broken. And I'll go back and now talk in a little bit of details on something that I talked about last time. And what I said is that we take responsibility in terms of winning favor for our spouses on our side of families. And that becomes a very good cushion for us. It is my responsibility to win the favor of my wife in our family. To my parents, to my siblings, that is my duty. That is my responsibility. And that is something that I've seen work practically and have put it in my book, Imperfect But Fit for His Purpose. And what you're saying is that the moment I marry this girl, then I have taken up a duty and a responsibility to talk well of them to my parents and to my siblings. And now here we are talking about parents. The second thing is that I have a responsibility never to show them a negative side of my wife. No matter how negative she is, all of us are imperfect. That's why I said imperfect, but fit for his purpose. And one explanation that I gave is that it is possible for us to reconcile and work on our differences. But if I had talked to my mother about how badly you are treating me, that will never be corrected. For us, we can forgive each other, love each other, and continue with our journey. But there will always be a problem between you and my mother. And therefore, if, like what we say with my wife is that for her, in their family, I must remain an angel.
Yes.
And that is what I have remained for 15 years now. If you go and talk to her father,
they know Warui is an angel.
This guy is an angel,
Yes.
but I might be one of the worst. And then if you talk to our family, you talk to my mom, you talk to my sisters, they know that my wife is an angel. Because I have a responsibility. I will never tell my parents or my siblings anything negative about my wife. And that is a responsibility and a duty that we have. The other thing that is very important is that when there are issues that are coming up from either side of the family, it is my responsibility to deal with them. If there is something that my mother is doing, if there is something that my father is doing that is affecting our marriage, my wife have no responsibility to go and try to mend that. It is my responsibility to deal with our family and to ensure that they honor and respect our marriage.
Yes.
And it is her responsibility to deal with her family and to ensure that they respect and honor our marriage. Even if something is coming up, maybe because my wife made a mistake, and therefore my father or my mother is saying something, as long as these are my parents, it's my duty and my responsibility. The other thing that is very important, which could be number 3, and I said it, that God designed marriage to a unitary state of marriage.
Yeah.
And I said anything or anybody who in any way distorts the unitary state of marriage, then is to be seen as a raven, is to be seen as somebody who is causing some negativities in the marriage. And what are we talking about? If my parents makes me see myself as me and my wife there, and therefore I find myself now on the side of my people, and she is there, and she sees herself on the side of our people, and now we have to face each other like two armies, then there's a problem there.
Yeah.
We must remain a united front. That if my father or my mother comes and tells me something about pointing to my wife as if it's somebody outside of me, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem. That if I have to sit with my parents and have any discussion that touches on my wife, that discussion must be clear that we are talking about me and my wife, we are one thing.
Yes.
So we are discussing a unit, a marriage. You're not discussing me and the way my wife is treating me, or me and the way my wife is doing this. No, we are a unit. And therefore we are discussing that issue from a unitary state. And therefore if somebody distorts that, then there's a problem, and you need to be very, very careful and to ensure that that is dealt with. I have said this again and again. If a concern is raised by your spouse, that I know your mother was here or your father was here, there's a comment they made, there's something they said, you don't go telling your wife that you're petty, you don't go telling your husband you're petty, you address the issue.
Yes.
Because huge issues start small, and therefore you need to take care of that. The other thing that people need to be very careful about is spending prolonged times together. Especially when there is no reasonable reason. Sometimes we can sit and agree that mom is sick or dad is sick, we need to stay with them and take care of them. But there are some unreasonable, not well supported, prolonged visits that now come. You know, a mother comes to the home, and of course, mothers are very protective to their sons. Like myself, I'm the only son in our home, so you can expect my mother really loves this boy.
Yes.
Yeah. So. If there's such things that are happening, and this person is coming and staying there for long times, long visits, what will happen is that by default, she will have a tendency of trying to look at the affairs of her son and seeing gaps that are being left by the wife. And if by any chance she tries to fill those gaps or to point them out, or to, an issue will arise. And so unless we have to have them stay with us, which is okay. Like I've said, some of them may be elderly, they may be ill, then we should not encourage that kind of prolonged visits, but again, prolonged visits with them coming, they're getting in. There are no boundaries. They're going in. It is very, very important for you to guard against that.
Wow.
Yes.
Before we leave the issue of parents,
Yes.
I want you to talk to mama's boys. There are these men, they are married, but you find that they still consult their mothers before they do anything.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
I think what I would say to such kind of men, unfortunately they have already married. I would have told them to take a little bit longer and stay without getting married and enjoy the love and the care of their mothers. But now that they're already married, let them respect and honor their marriages. And the way to respect and honor your marriage is to respect and honor the helpmate that God has given you. And allow that helpmate to be the one who supports you, who helps you, and to always remember that she is an equal partner in the marriage. And therefore, if you have to consult about anything outside of that marriage, including to your parents, she must give consent, and it must be for the good of the two of you.
Yeah.
And you're not consulting them to overturn her decisions. You are consulting them to check on the decision you have made as a unit. That communication demands that before I go to any third party, unless we have challenges making a decision, we have reached a consensus, we have agreed on a way forward, and so I'm not going to somebody else, I'm just passing a decision we have made to see it's fine, it's okay, because it's not bad. Sometimes you may consult parents, but only there is consent.
Yeah.
You have already discussed and reached a consensus, so you have a united way moving forward. And I would advise, don't consult your mother alone. Consult your mother with her. If you have to call her, put her on loudspeaker, sit there, and let both of you hear what is being said. That gives security to your wife and enables her to take her possession. Because the other thing that is very dangerous is that when you do things that seem to be taking away somebody from their possession, they could easily take a back seat and watch at you. There are people who are like that. They just take a back seat. You have decided to consult your mother, continue consulting your mother. And therefore you miss out on the benefit that this woman was supposed to bring in your life when God gave her to you.
Yeah.
Because it's God who gives you that woman as a helpmate. And if you miss out on what she was supposed to bring, then you are missing out on a lot. Yes.
And I also think the parents should also know their rightful position.
Exactly. Yeah. If we are to address parents, here we are addressing the mama's boy.
Yes.
But all of us are becoming parents-in-law very soon.
Yes.
And some who are watching could be parents-in-law. The day your son decided to marry that girl, he was sending a message to you. Now, this is the most important person in my life. She's my helpmate. Let them run with their marriage. You had yours. You know how you handled it. Let them handle theirs.
Wow.
Yes.
That's clear.
Yeah.
This is Couples Will Show, and this is where we write down our love will while we are alive. We are handling third parties in marriage. There's another issue that came up, the issue of siblings.
Yes.
You'll find one partner will call their siblings to live in their house. And these siblings will come and start acting like bosses. Wanaekelea miguu kwa meza, kazi ni kuitisha chai na burger.
Yes.
How do we handle this?
The same way. It's your responsibility to deal with your siblings. And I've said it's okay to allow them to come to your house if that is all that you can do. But if possible, sometimes it might be important to give room and space for your marriage to thrive, especially if you are newly married, you've been married for just a few days, and maybe you've not been blessed to have a huge place to live in. Sometimes if you have resources, it might be easier to rent them somewhere to live than to come and live with you. But if they have to come and live with you, one thing, sit down with your wife, sit down with your husband, come up with the house rules, agree. This is how things are supposed to be done before they come. Because my expectation is that they are coming because you have sat and agreed. It is not that they came visiting and they are not leaving.
There are some, unatoka job jioni unapata, haya, ndugu yake amekuja.
No,
you're not even aware.
That one needs to be rebuked. Because if my brother is coming, if my sister is coming, then we should be able to discuss and agree that so and so is coming, and they will be staying with us for this duration of time, and then we agree on what are the house rules. How are we going to
now
live
what
together?
happens when this one partner invites the brother to come
Yes.
and you're not aware?
Then we have a bone to pick there. We have to now sit down and discuss, and hopefully this other spouse becomes cooperative. That what you've done is wrong. It should not have been done, and therefore, because this has happened, we have to sit down and now agree what is the way forward. Do we set this brother or sister of yours back home, or do we allow them to stay? And if we are allowing them to stay, what are the house rules? How are we going to go about it? What is he supposed to be doing? Where is he supposed to be sleeping? What is he supposed to be doing? If he doesn't have a job to do, then what do? Do we continue keeping our house help here and he continue or she continue sitting? Or because he is here now, do we now excuse our house help? And because we are supporting him and doing that, we have to sit and agree.
Yeah.
And after we have agreed, it is now the duty of the one whose siblings are in the house to go and sit them down and tell them, these are the rules for this house. You've come to stay with us. This is how I and my wife have agreed to do things. You either take or leave it.
Yeah.
If you can't abide by this, then I'm sorry, we are not able to stay with you. If you can abide by it, then we will stay together. But if the spouse is uncooperative, then that is a conflict that is building up. It's a conflict that is building up, and it needs to be sorted. Like I said last time, you don't sort your conflicts with your family members. Your family members will never become neutral arbiters in a conflict within your marriage. But there are certain channels, and I think I was able to illustrate that. Number one, you should have your marriage mentors.
Yeah.
You should have a best couple who was with, and a best couple is not somebody who just comes to sign the certificate, wear some nice clothes like Willie is wearing today, and then comes and after the wedding day they are gone. No, you need a mentor couple, people who are like your parents, people who are working with you, people who know you in and out, and people whom I know. Like now I know if we have a conflict that we are not able to resolve within our marriage, my wife knows very clearly that there is somebody that we have agreed. I said, you don't build these relationships when there is a conflict. You build them before, so that by the you don't buy an ambulance when somebody's leg has already been broken. So that when the conflict comes, you already know who to run to, and therefore these people should already be there. So if this conflict is brewing, this person is not reasoning, then you could seek help. Of course, like I said, solutions will only and always be found within the two of you.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an environment and you're not able to discuss issues, then the next is your mentor or your best couple. You should be able to sit with them. They provide a controlled environment that will enable you discuss issues. There are some people who also have some good peer relationships.
Yeah.
You know, that I know Willie is afraid to Bernard, and your wife knows that. And I know Willie hangs out with Bernard a lot. And I know if I went to Bernard and maybe talked to him about this, Willie will not have an issue.
Yes.
Because that is the key thing. That you must not discuss issues about your marriage with someone with whom your husband or your wife will feel that you betrayed them, or you betrayed the confidence that they have in you. So you must, and you must have agreed before that this is our run-to person when we really can't. You know, there are times when you really can't really talk. There are times when conflicts are high, emotions are high, you can't objectively discuss things. Then that is the person to run to. Be able to discuss that, because they only create an environment for the two of you to fight, because solutions will always be found between the two of you.
Yes.
So if you can fight them at home, the better. If they can't be found at home, don't allow your marriage to break.
Yes.
As you watch. Never walk alone. Get to speak to your mentor couple or your best couple. And my belief is that by the time you're getting there, a solution should be found.
Yeah.
Before it escalates to the pastor, or even now gets back to the parents should be as a last resort.
Yes.
Your family should be as a last resort to know that there are issues that are happening in your marriage.
Yeah. Because
they will never be neutral arbiters. They'll always fall on the side of their person.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There's one viewer who said that it's a lady.
Yes.
She has tried to raise this issue and the husband is not ready to listen. And so she has given up.
She should not give up. who
That is what
yes
she texted us and said,
she has
I have given up.
Mhm.
I have tried to raise this issue.
Yeah.
I have given up.
Mhm.
Because I think they are living with the brother
Yeah.
to the husband.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think I would advise the same process. Who is, and that is the trouble of walking alone. Who is your mentor couple? Who pastors you? Because before you give up and you leave your marriage, I believe there are people who are very much interested in seeing your marriage work, and they can support and help you. So I would think if they have a mentor couple, or they have mentors and people they work with, she should be able to approach them. And you see these people should, and that is why they should not be your age mates. They should be people that you can look up and see as an authority.
Yeah.
That this is a person who will tell your husband, if my mentor couple calls me now, they're not far from here. I've always mentioned, they're in the book, Reverend Dr. Peterson Wangombe at Deliverance Church Kahawa Sukari here. If he calls me and tells me I want to see you at 7, I'll be there at 7.
Yeah.
Because there are people who have allowed authority over my life. And that is why they should not be anybody. So this person, this lady should be able to know, who can I go to? And if this person talks to my husband will listen. Of course, if they don't have, then the next fallback is the pastor. Because I don't believe that marriages should break when we are there. I don't believe that you should try to resolve things with amongst yourself, and they can't work, and you give up and leave. Or you give up and live with discontent. Because what will happen is that you will be living in the same house, but you separated long ago. You know, she may say, I've given in, I'm not leaving this house, maybe because I have kids and we have this, but I'm not happy with
There's
this.
no
I'm not
connection.
okay. So they'll be living in the same house, but they separated long ago.
Yes.
And that marriage will not be fulfilling the purpose for which God created that marriage to fulfill.
What if they are not believers, and so they don't have a pastor,
Yeah.
and they don't have mentors? What should they do?
Let them believe first. Let them come to the Lord first.
Yes.
But even if they are not believers, that still works. Yes, that still works. Is there somebody who this person looks up to as an authority, who this person respects, who this person can reason to, and who, if they reason to this issue, they would be able to objectively persecute it. You know, they would be able to call him, sit with him. There's something, and this is a trick. This is not a very good one to tell, but I think it's good. Sometimes you may know an issue that is going on within your marriage, and you know somebody that your husband or your wife listens to, and they pay attention to, and you know you do not want your husband or your wife to know that you're the one who is sending them. That's why I say this is a trick one. So you go and talk to this person, and then this person, by their wisdom, they are able to talk to your husband. Without your husband knowing whether this issue came from you or your wife knowing it came from you, but this person can apply their wisdom. They could be very close friends.
Yeah.
They could be people who have authority over their lives, and as they discuss issues, they will be able to navigate, get onto this issue, and then listen to this person. Most of the times, if there are issues that are going on within the family, there is a way you navigate, and you get even the person who is defensive bringing up the issue. When the person brings up the issue, then the person, by his wisdom, is able to try and talk to him, and finally, he could even book an appointment with the two of you, because he could be able to say, by the way, that sounds like a real issue. Is it possible for us to sit together with your wife and have a discussion over it? Then he says, I don't mind. And then you find you've sat together, you've resolved the issue.
Yeah.
And it's for the good of the marriage.
Yes.
And the marriage is healed. And of course, later on, then you can make your confession.
Yes.
That after things have been resolved and you're happy, and maybe you're in Hawaii or on holiday, then you can now make the confession that, you know, when so and so talked to you, I'm the one who had expressed that concern.
Don't you think that might bring some issues?
I don't think so. If your objective is one, this marriage is going down. It's breaking. It's almost finished. But now I have to salvage it. I have to salvage it. Then, because what we are saying is that is something, it's like a last resort. You know, you're saying if this is not done, then this marriage is broken and lost. So does it break and get lost? Or do I find a way of really saving it? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Because
so that you're not doing this with you're not discussing this with malice,
yes,
or because you're looking down at your husband or your wife, or because It is because you have a great interest at heart for your marriage to work, and you are doing this as a desperate move. You know, we have said several things that you can do, but you're doing this as a desperate move to save your marriage. It's a marriage that is falling. It's already on the cliff. You can see it is now going. Now you have to do anything that you have to do.
You know, I'm thinking about this, talking to him later and telling I planned this, and maybe that person might feel betrayed. You betrayed me.
Of course, you must evaluate the contest. You know your person.
Yes.
You know your person. You know your man. You know your woman. You know how they will receive it. But I can tell you, because I have participated in one or two of such things, it doesn't hurt. When things have already been resolved, the person already appreciates the work that this third party came and did. And he's able to say that, other than so-and-so came in, our marriage was dying. And he's already happy about it. It's okay now to say, then I thank God that I got the wisdom of asking this person to do this.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
Of course, you're not just bringing it in. You have evaluated. You have been able to see that we are at a point where, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
Yes.
I get you. Now, let's talk about giving your spouse and your family quality time.
Exactly.
Because there are people who will give people out there quality time, and they don't give their family quality time, and this can act like a third party, because you're out there very busy with other people's affairs, and kwako nyumbani uliachilia.
I go back to what I talked about, intentionality. And intentionality, I always summarize intentionality into three. You resolve, you plan, and you execute. Because some of these things can happen, even without you wanting them to happen. That you have such a busy job, you're working very hard, and when you come home, you're tired, and you just sit there, or you take your phone and you are on your phone or on TV, and you end up being strangers in the same home. What I would say is that be intentional about it. Be intentional about it. Number one, resolve that I want to spend quality time with my family. Resolve how much time do I want to give my family. Number two, plan how am I going to do it. How am I going to do it? Am I going to set aside a day in the week? I've mentioned it in this book that one of the way we've done it in our family is that every day, 8 to 9, as much as possible, we are all home. Number two, it is our off-screen time. The TV is off, all the phones are off.
Every day?
No, but every day.
Monday to Sunday?
Monday to Sunday, 8 to 9 p.m.
No screen?
No screen, no laptop, no phone, no TV.
Wow.
And we pay attention to each other. And what you do is that you invest in things that bring you together. Have a Scrabble board with you. Have cards to play together. Give stories. So we have all these things that we do together as a family. So because if you're not intentional, you'd also even bring up children that are strangers to each other. Because every time they sit together, each child is either on the phone or on the TV, and they get to teenage and they have never spent time together. They don't know each other. And when we started that, I realized that my children can be very good storytellers. So you must be very intentional. So you resolve, I want to do it. You plan, how will I do it? And you execute. And executing, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy. You are in a conversation on phone and 8 is here. And my 3-year-old daughter is telling me it's off screen time. You have to stop it. And you have to execute that. So you have to be very, very intentional. It doesn't just happen. I said freewheeling is not allowed. You don't just flow with the current. You do things intentionally. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. And you do it exactly that way.
Wow.
Yes, you may decide I have a busy schedule. I'm a minister like myself. So what happens, every time I'm going somewhere, I'll go with my family. If we are visiting, we'll go with the children, we'll go with my wife. So you have to find a way. Or decide every Saturday morning, I will not take any appointments. I'll be home with the kids. I'll be home with the family. You have to really be very intentional. But of course, it also requires some sacrifices. If you are a consultant, you are a businessman, sometimes there's some income you have to forego for you to be able to spend time. Because some people sell time. That when I work an hour on this project, I'm paid this much. So you have to sacrifice that hour to go and spend time with your family.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Your parting shot.
My parting shot is this. And I'll repeat that freewheeling is not allowed in marriage and in the family. And what I would request you, be very intentional. Resolve what kind of marriage you want to have. Plan how you will do and work on it. And finally, execute. Plans are just that. If they are not executed, they never brings the benefits that you require. Keep boundaries and third parties where they ought to be. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was good having you.
Good having you too. Oh,
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is it. We come to the end of our Tonight Show. This is Couples Will Show. This is where we write down our love will while we are alive. As you have always said, we don't want our love story to be told when we are 6 feet under. My name is Willie Kinyash, and I love you all. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Keep on commenting there. Let us know what you have learned tonight. God bless you, and God bless your marriage. Good night.
Wema TV, the voice of hope.